Welcome back to our research methodology classes. Today we are going to discuss formulating a research problem. What is a research problem? As we know, research problem is the starting point of all research activity. That means whether you are doing research in a science or social science, it starts with a research problem. Unless there is a problem, there may not be any research. So research is just the steering of the vehicle of research. Now the research problem starts with the questions the researcher used to ask about a particular problem or particular topic. As a newcomer, it is very easy to formulate a research problem. But actually, to formulate a valid research problem, it requires considerable knowledge about the subject area and also the research methodology. The term the problem originates from the Greek word problemium, which means anything that thrown forwards a question for examination. So it starts with a problem and ends with a solution. Research starts with a problem, ends with a solution. The solution again gives us another problem or another way of dealing the problem, and that becomes another research problem which leads to another research. So it is just like a cyclical process where it starts with a problem, ends with a solution, and again that solution gives us a new problem, and it goes on. So it is essential for the problem one has to formulate to be enabled to withstand scrutiny in terms of procedures required to be undertaken. The primary task of any researcher is to find out a researchable problem. All problems are not researchable. In our day-to-day life, we used to face a number of problems, but all problems are not researchable in the sense that some problems are not in the nature of to do research because of the lack of time or because of the lack of resources, because of the lack of information. So the questions are the problems that arises in our day-to-day phenomena may not be a research problem. Now, when we say a research problem, when we say a problem is a research problem, when the research problem leads to or research problem is satisfying all the valid criteria to become a research problem, then we can say a problem to be a research problem, and it is a valid research problem that is going to be researched. A well defined problem leads to half solved research. That means if our problem is well defined, then it leads to solution and it leads to the ways and means by which we can achieve the best solution. It is rightly said that, as you know, the famous saying about computer, garbage in and garbage out, the same is also equally applicable to research problem. If your problem is not well defined, then the outcome is also not defined. Initially, one may become more confused about uh, fixing a research problem, but it is very normal. If you are facing problem in fixing the research problem or designing or formulating a research problem, that means you are in a progress, you are in a progressive sign. That means after, if you take some time, go on reading, and again and again, if you define the research problem, definitely you will finally reach to a researchable research problem. Then what are the important components of a research problem? There must be some difficulties or problem. Without problem, we cannot define or formulate a research problem. There should be some objectives to be pursued. Whatever problem we must have objectives to be achieved. What we need after doing research from that problem, what we expect as a solution. There should be alternative ways of achieving the objectives. If there is only one alternative, then if this is the problem, this is the answer, or this is the solution, then there is no need for research, because research is possible only when there is availability of multiple alternatives in the hands of the researcher or situation. There should be doubt about the choice of alternatives. If there are number of alternatives, then and the researcher must have doubts which one will give the best result, then also research problem can be defined. There should be a context to which problem relates. If you say, how could one bring the moon to the earth, then this is not this is a problem out of the context. If your problem is what will be the precaution if the corona will spread in community, then what will the precaution to be taken, then this will be a problem. Now, what are the sources of problem? Normally, 4 P's will give us the sources of problem. In fact, a closer look of any academic or occupational field will show that most research involves around these 4 P's. What are those 4 P's? Number 1, your people. Number 2, problem. Number 3, program. Number 4, phenomenon. People is our study population, because whatever we will study, it is always relating to your people. So people is our study population. People, which includes, when we say people, it includes individual, its organization, or a group of individual, or a community. So what actually they provide? They provide us with the required informations or collect information from or about them. So people, here I mean the source from where we used to collect the data to process and get the solution for a particular research. This is our study population. Then when we study the people to get to get the issues or problems facing a group of people, description of a particular situation, association between two different problems, needs, attitudes, population profile, service delivery process, and so on of a particular problem. Or when you study people, it may provides people will get the feedback on a particular program, content of a program, administration structure, service outcomes, consumer satisfaction, profile of consumers, profile of service provider, effectiveness and cost benefit analysis of a particular program. Similarly, if it study a phenomena, it will give us a cause and effect relationship, the study of phenomena itself. So these are all the source from where we can get a number of research problems for our research endeavor. The concept of 4 P's is applicable to both quantitative and qualitative research. Though there is difference, I will explain it in later on, but there is a difference. There is no significant difference between these two type of research so far as source of problem is concerned. So we can have we can also get the problem or identify the problem with the help of these 4 P, by way of our personal experience or with the supervisor advice or our personal intuition as we deal with different programs, different problems, different phenomena, change in of new innovations, our reading from different sources, academic experience, in our day-to-day experience, consultation with different bodies, facing field situation, brainstorming in different seminars, conferences. So these are the source of your research problem. Now, what are the steps to identify a research problem? There are 7 steps to identify a particular research problem. When I say step to identify research problem means what are the steps to formulate a research problem or research objectives. Your first step is determine the researcher's broad keen area of interest. What is your keen area of interest? When I say keen area of interest, it doesn't mean that in which area you are interested to listen, or in which area you have so much of passion. Here interest means in which area as a researcher would you like to work further, would you like to get some new information. That is here the keen interest area. So when there is a interest, you can proceed further and it will give you it will be very easy. Next step is, once you decide your interest area, suppose I give an example. My interest area is to study alcoholism. Now when I decide the broad area, that alcoholism, next is in alcoholism area I have to dissect the broad area into different sub areas. The sub areas may be like, in my example, the areas may be like your profile of alcoholics, the cause of alcoholism, the process of becoming an alcoholic, the effects of alcoholic on the family, the community uh, towards the alcoholism, the effectiveness of treatment of different model, government scheme to stop alcoholism, family activeness responses towards alcoholism. So these are the different sub areas of our broad interest area. Number 3 is pinpoint specific aspect of problem. As alcoholism have number of number of different subsets or sub areas, then out of which we have to identify which area we want to work. Then the pinpoint area, suppose in my example, is effect of alcoholism on the family. This is how the pinpoint area. When you decide to pinpoint a particular area, in that case you should, before deciding this is the pinpoint area, you should go for extensive research, literature review, and extensive discussion with the people who have already worked, the persons who have little bit of knowledge about this, the persons who are already working in this area. So this is how you can pinpoint the aspect. So reducing the broad area into sub area and again sub area to your specific research area is not a easy task. So out of suppose 8 or 9 sub area, you can eliminate the area which are of least interest for you, and after that there may be still 2 to 3 4 areas which you cannot delete. Now out of these 2 to 3 areas, you have to again exercise your brain, ask different people who are working, go for extensive literature review, Then finally decide on which area you want to do your research work. Suppose in our example you want to do a research work effect of alcoholism on the family. Then step 4 is raise research questions. When you finally decide that you want to do research on your effects of alcoholism, then your fourth step is you raise different research questions. Listen, when I say your research area or interest, effects of alcoholism on family, this is not a question. You have to ask a question with the help of WHO word. Like in our example, what impact does alcoholism have on marital relationship? How does it affect the various aspects of children's lives? What are the effects on families' finances? What effects of alcoholism on family health? Uh, these are the research questions. So once you raise different research questions based on your finally choose research area, then in fifth step you have to formulate research objective. Now here there may be a questions: is there any difference between a research questions and a research objectives? Yes, research questions are uh, the normal questions, the questions which we normally use in our day to day life, but research objectives will give us a specific questions that we need to get answers. Like in our example, our research objectives may be uh, to find out. It will always start to find, to determine, to assess, to study, like that. So our objectives will be to find out the effect of alcoholism on family. This is our objective. Here again I want to give you an important things, that when you decide your objectives, the objectives or your research objectives may be uh, main objectives, then sub objectives. And always remember, the main objectives, the sub objectives are should be a part of main objectives, and each sub objective must relates to only one aspect of main objective. In our example, as I have already discussed, the my main objective is to find out the effects of alcoholism on family. The other sub objectives may be to ascertain, number one, to ascertain the impact of alcoholism on marital relationship. The questions we have asked accordingly, now we are converting the questions to objectives. The second question may be to determine the ways in which alcoholism affects the different aspect of children's life. Next is we have to find out the effects of alcoholism on financial situation of the family, and so on. So this is how research question will be converted to research objectives. Next step is formulating objectives. Now we have formulated the objectives. Now assessing the objective. How to assess the objective? When I say assess the objective, that means assessing the objective in the light of the work involved, the time involved, the financial resources involved, and the research supervisors and your own technical expertise in that area. Once you have decided your research questions, research objectives, then you should assess yourself. What is your strength and weaknesses, whether you are capable of doing it or not. What are your expertise, what are your um, researchers guides or the supervisors expertise, and what is the manpower required. All these things you have to assess. Once it is finalized, yes, you can do. Now your research problem is finally formulated. Still then, next step is rephase the problem. When I say rephase the problem, means double check again all the steps, you verify whether this is your main interest area or not, whether this out of the main interest area, what are the sub areas you have identified, all these areas are sufficient or is there any sub area left. Out of the sub area, the area which you have selected is a researchable one or not, and then research questions are sufficient or not, then research objectives are formulated. Research problems you have formulated have all covered the research questions or not, then you see your involvement of time, resources, money and your expertise. So this is all about the sources or steps to identify the research problem. Then here I want to again explain the characteristics of research objectives. I have discussed the research objectives. Now what are the characteristics of research objectives? Listen, research objectives are of almost same thing. When we fix the research objectives, it must commensurate with the research questions, but here certain characteristics are there which will depend on the type of study. Suppose our study is a descriptive study, then in case of descriptive study, the objective should be expressed in such a way, it should be clear, complete and specific. That means there should not be any chances of misunderstanding or misinterpretation of the words which are used in writing your objectives. Suppose if your study is primarily descriptive study, the main objective should be clearly described, the major focus of your study, even mentioning the organization and its location, unless these are to be kept confidential. That means you cannot write we will study the electronics electrical ITC company. No, out of ITC company, which company you want to study, you have to specifically mention, so that whether it will come electronic or electricals, it may not create any confusion. Similarly, if your study is a correlational in nature, then in addition to that first three characteristics, it should be identify the main variables to be correlated. That means what you want to correlate with each other. That means correlation of family incomes and spending. Here income and spending, family income and family spending is two different variables. You have to identify it in that objectives. Similarly, if your study is in a hypothesis testing type of study, here in addition to that four specific characteristics, one new characteristic should be added, that identify the direction of the relationship. When I say direction of the relationship, that means there is positive impact, negative impact, positive relationship, negative relationship, or unemployment or employment has a positive impact on GDP, like that. This type of characteristics should be there in the objectives. Now, what are the criteria for selecting a research problem? What are the criteria? Means under what circumstances one should select a particular research problem for research. First is importance of the field and its implication. You may go for research on any problem, but first as a researcher you should see the themes or the problems or the phenomenon which you want to study is of importance or not, whether it has some implication in the society or the people for which you want to do research or not. Otherwise there is no meaning for doing a particular research for the sake of research only. So first thing is it should be important or valid, relevance to the society or not. Number two is the researcher must do research in the area which is of his interest area, he must have intellectual in that area, curiosity to know it. All these things are, if there will be, if all these things will be there, then it will automatically motivates him to do his best work, and so that he can do the best research. And as the research line is not so easy, there are so many problems starting from defining research problem to getting the final result. If it is of interest area, all these problem can be overcome. The most important thing is availability of data and methods. Many times we used to define such or formulate such a research problem, very good research problem, but to do the research, whatever data are required, that data may not be available either openly or even on paid services. Number of data are there which are prohibited or coming under Secrecy Act, which will not be provided to you for open access, or it is not available for to the researcher for research work. So that's why when we select a particular research problem, the data which you require must, before deciding the problem, you must first verify whether these data are available or not, whether this data can be retrieved or not, whether it is a paid means or free means. Similarly, the methods to which requires to be analysis of the data, whether it is available or not, whether you are of knowledge or not. If you are not having expertise on that particular method, whether the persons who has some expertise who will work, who can help you, whether he has given you consent to help you or not, that must be verified. Then measurement of concept. If we use some concept in our study, like in my last few example, I have given you a different, I have used different words like your poor, rees, your alcoholism, family. When I say family, then who are coming under family, that must be defined. That is known as your measurement of concept. And when I say family, it must be a concept and it must be a measurable one. You have to decide. When I say family, it relates to the person who is respondent and his wife or his children, and it doesn't involve the other brother and sister. Like that, you have to decide who, what do you mean by family for your research purpose. Your meaning may not be equal for others, but for your research purpose, you may define the concept as per your convenience. Similarly, special equipment, working condition, expertise, whatever you are required, you have to be verified before you decide a particular research problem. This is the most important in case of sponsorship or administration cooperation. If some research are being given you or awarded you for doing a particular research, in that case you should find out who are the sponsorship, the persons who are giving you the sponsor, or whether their objectives are fulfilled with your research problem or not. That must be given due importance. Then this is the most common criteria for selecting any research problem. Before we go for next step, what are the resources required, is there with you or not, whether the cost you require is sufficiently available or not, whether the cost and returns are sufficient for doing a particular research or not. That must be cost benefit analysis must be done before deciding a particular research problem. And this is the most important factor for any science, even social science research, because whatever research we'll do, the research is for a particular problem and we need solution for a particular problem, so it must be completed within due time. If our research will over, or if we get a solution after so long time, then it is meaningless. Similarly, time is always time may be given by sponsor or by different authority, and if we do not do our work, if we cannot do our work within time, then it is also meaningless. And the last but not the least, ethical issue or novelty, or we say plagiarism. In the course of conducting the research work, the study population may be adversely affected by some of our questions. So in that case, we have to avoid that questions. We have to be little bit. We have to be complete careful to preserve the personal informations, secret informations. We are also. We should also try to uh, do things new, avoid unnecessary all sort of duplicacy, gathering of informations, plagiarism work. So these are the criteria for selecting your research problem. Then I have already discussed the concept and the study populations. Uh, Let me give an example where it will be very easy. Suppose our main objectives of a particular study is to find out the number of children living below poverty line. So in these objectives, first we have to see the concept to be studied, poverty line. When I say poverty line, so what constitutes the poverty line? Here we have to define what is poverty line. Suppose we can decide that any persons whose income is below this much or spending is below this much, they will be considered as a poverty. Similarly, the same objective we have written the number of children living below poverty line. Now, this is the study population. Children are our study population. Now, who would be considered as a child? What is the age of our respondent, so that we can consider a child? Their age may be specific age and may be a scale age. So, for example, 4 years may be considered as age, or 0 to 4 years may be considered as age, or 0 to 6, 0 to 8 may be considered as child. This has to be decided. This is our population to be studied. This concept is our poverty. Population to be studied is our children. Suppose let me give another example. All these are known as workable definitions of our concept, because these definitions what we are defining as a children or as a poverty line may not be as it was decided by somebody else. Here we have to decide of our own. Another objective, suppose to ascertain the impact of immigration on family role among the immigrants. Here family role is our concept. What we need, what do you understand by family role? Suppose family role means how you are managing your family, how your livelihood is being carried out, what is your profession or how you are earning, that is mean by a family role. Similarly, immigrants, when I say immigrant, who would be considered as immigrant? The persons who are coming from a other state, the person who are coming from leaving a job to another job, or from other country, like that we have to decide. So this is how we have to decide the workable definition of the concepts and the populations and the study populations. Last, formulating research problem in case of a quantitative research and qualitative research. I have already explained you how to formulate a research problem. There is little bit difference in these two type of research problem. In case of quantitative research, your depth of analysis is very narrow. You have to be very specific what you want to study. But in case of qualitative research, your objective or your depth of study may be broader, because it is not known what are the factors to be considered in getting a closer view or very good result of your research. Similarly, the methods and framework should be specific. You have to be very specific regarding the information you need, regarding the methods to be followed in case of your quantitative methods. But in case of qualitative methods, the system, the framework, you may decide in the earlier stage of your data collection may vary or may change in the subsequent stage. When you go on collecting data, you will get different things that are very important to be employed, to be included in our research work. Accordingly, you can change your methods of data collection, you can change your research framework also. The reasoning of doing research in case of quantitative is always inductive, because uh, because here we use a specific thing to be very micro thing to be examined to get a particular solution of a particular problem. But in case of qualitative, it is a deductive, huge things you can collect, and subsequently go on collecting data. When after a little bit stage you may feel that these are not these are not of our importance, you can drop it. Some variables may be important, you can add it. So the reasoning is deductive. Problem identification, in case of quantitative research, problems are identified first, then accordingly data are collected. But in case of qualitative research problem, even the problem may change even after the data are collected, because during the stage of data collection the researcher may get some new idea, new thoughts, new things that provokes his mind that his area of research has been very squeezed. He can expand it to include all those things which have also a bearing on that particular research questions. So this is all about the formulation of a research problem and the steps and the sources of finding problem. So thank you. Stay home, stay safe.